We have a pretty easy DI set here. It's basically a little bit of manipulation of this table that is given. One table is completely given. I'll get an enlarged one in a while, but then let us first understand the premise. So there are only four brands of entry-level smartphones. So A, B, C, D are the three smartphones here. Details about the market share, unit selling price, and profitability has been given in the table for the year 2016. So 2016 data is given. And then in 2017, there's some additional information to figure out a similar table. So let me now first get that original table in an enlarged version. Okay, so as you can see, there is this market share that is given in this column as percentage of total market, of course. The unit selling price has been given. So unit selling price will be one unit of product, the selling price of it, of course. And profitability has been given, but if you read in the premise, the profitability has been defined as a profit as a percentage of the revenue, not of the expenses. So that is good because revenue can be calculated, not the exact one. But if I get the total volume of the market, so if I get the total volume, however it is, I can calculate each of the mobiles volume sold because that is what market share indicates, right? So if I have, let's say, 40 lakh units total selling in the market, out of that 40% will be of A, 25% will be of B, and so on. So volume will be total volume will be required to calculate each and every volume or each and every product's volume that we are selling. Multiplied to the selling price of each unit will give us the total revenue, and then percentage of that, this percentage of that total revenue that is will give us the actual profit, right? So this is the main structuring that should happen in your mind. This should happen in your mind, so hence I'm not writing this out. I hope that was understood. So this is something that you should automatically understand. I'm just taking these things off as and when required. I'll get that back. Now there was something. So this is for 2016, by the way, right? You should draw this table by yourself once if it is difficult to relate for you from the computer screen. But if it is okay for you to relate with the computer screen, then that's fine. You don't need to draw this entire table once again. So 2017, whatever data is given, let us figure that out. So first thing that is mentioned is the sales volume of the entry level smartphones grew by 40%. So these are the entry level smartphones, all of these. Now these are growing by 40%. The total volume is growing by 40%, right? So the total volume that I talked about in a while back. So that total volume is growing by 40%. So let me keep a mark of that. So this is what is happening, right? Total volume goes up by 40%, first of all, because I don't know what is the total volume. So I'm just keeping it in this way. So total volume goes up by 40%. Great. Now, there is some additional information given. So C offers a 40% discount on its unit selling price. So whatever was the unit selling price, the price has gone down, right? So let me develop this table once again. And this will be required for 2017 any which way. So you guys should also have done this. So you have the market share. I'm just writing this in short, in percentage, of course. You have the unit selling price. So I'm writing this USP. By the way, USP means a completely different thing altogether. And the profitability. So I'm writing P, percentage. So this is what we have. And the first information tells us that the unit selling price of C has dropped by 40%, right? There's a 40% discount on the unit selling price. So earlier, the unit selling price used to be 30,000. So if you're giving a discount of 40%, you're left with 60%, right? So now the unit selling price should be 18,000. So this is pretty easily done. So that is for C, which resulted in a 15% increase in its market share. Now, this is something I'll point out. When it comes to market shares, sometimes percentages imply percentage points itself. So don't take an assumption straight away. Just read the rest of it. You'll understand automatically. So let's read the next sentence itself. Each of the other three brands lost 5% market share. Now, understand this. This is not actually 15% of this number. So this is not growing by 15% or 15% or something. The market share is increasing by 15 percentage points. So that is the implication when it says market share is growing by 15% any which way. And this can be easily justified also. I mean, had it been a percentage increase, not percentage points increase. So what we are trying to say is 15% of 15, that is for C, must be equal to 5% of the remaining, isn't it? Because as it says, each of the other three brands lost 5% of market share. So implying that the remaining market share is 85%, right? So you're losing 5% and gaining 15%. The total market should balance out. The market share that is always calculated out of 100%, right? So percentage wise, this should always balance out. But this is not balancing out, right? I mean, 15% of 15 is not actually equal to 5% of 85. So now you can rule this out. So if you have a confusion, just read through it. In CAT, you'll always have information to avoid ambiguities. So this is one way to avoid that ambiguity. So this percentage point basically. So now it makes sense, right? I mean, this goes up by 15 percentage points, and the remaining goes down by 5 percentage points. So everything balances out very beautifully. So let's do that. So let's plug in the value. So this goes up by 15 percentage points. The remaining goes down by 5 percentage points. So this is what we have, right? Next information tells us the profitability of C came down to half of its value in 2016. So the profitability of C has become half of what it was in the previous year. And profitability is in percentage itself, right? So this is what we are talking about, not the profit, the profitability. So this would be 20 for 2017. And the unit selling prices of the other three brands and their profitability values remained the same in 2017 as were in 2016. So rest of it is as it is. So let us just quickly do that. So we have 15,000 here, we have 20,000 here, we have 25,000 here, and we have 10, 30, and 30. So this is the entire table that we are going to deal with. As you can see, the total volume actual value is not given. So there should be a comparison type of question, because ratio and all we can definitely determine, because total volume, whatever is here, it has grown by 40% here. So we can take 100 and 140 or 10 and 14 or 5 and 7. But we don't require that. Let us compare and check. So let us get into the questions now. Okay. So the first question number 5, the brand that had the highest revenue in 2016. So this is the reason I kept the table, because when you're solving, you will have this in your computer screen any which way. So in question number 5, we're looking for 2016, the highest revenue. Now we are looking for the highest revenue. So we don't care about the actual revenue, right? So this is what I was talking about. We just have to compare. Now, please understand what will be the revenue contribution. So revenue contribution of any particular brand. So let me mark this as X or something. So revenue of product X, let's say, will be equal to, first of all, the unit selling price will be relevant. So unit selling price of X multiplied with market share of X, right? But market share will be out of the total volume, right? So this into the total volume. But please understand, this total volume will be equal to, equal for all of the brands, right? It doesn't matter, because the total volume is the total volume. That is the amount of units sold of these entry-level smartphones together. That is out of which we are calculating the market share, right? Market share rather. Sorry. So all you have to compare is this part. So we have to compare this part for each of the products here. So just deal with the numbers, ignore the thousands also for for the unit selling price. So let us quickly get the numbers. I'll take it in the order in which in the table is present. So A, B, C, D, I'll take it in that order. So for A, we have 15 into 40. I'm ignoring the thousands, by the way. For the next one, we have 20 into 25. The next one, we have 30 into 15. The next, we have 25 into 20, right? These are the comparison points here. Now, I hope you can quickly see that 20 into 25 and 25 into 20 will be the same number. So we don't have to compare, because both of it cannot be the answer, right? So both are out, as simple as that. Whether we're looking for highest or lowest, it doesn't matter. I mean, both cannot be the answer. So both are out, by the way. You don't have an option like B or D, C or D, something like that. So ignore it. Now, all we have to do is compare these two. Now, 15 into 30, 15 into 40. Obviously, 15 into 40 is highest, right? So this is the highest. We're looking for the highest here. And this is for A, right? So option C is the answer. That is for question number 5. Let me just take this off and then we'll discuss question number 6. Okay, question number 6 is asking for a brand that had the highest profit again, profit of, let's do the same kind of thing. So profit for X will be the profitability percentage of X multiplied to, or let me not use multiplied sign in that way. So this is X, by the way. So profitability percentage of X multiplied to the revenue of X, isn't it? This is how the profitability, I mean, the profit will be calculated. If you remember, profitability was given as a percentage out of the revenue, not of the expenses. So this is what we are going to do. But please use the same idea as we discussed in the previous one. So revenue of X was just a factor of these two products, right? Now, additionally, now we have this also getting multiplied. So basically, all the three columns multiplied, similar to the previous questions. And this time around, we are going to multiply each of these three numbers. Not exactly. I'll again ignore those thousands and all. Maybe for profitability, I'll ignore the zeros also because all of them are zeros. And then I'm going to just compare. So all I have to do is compare between the different plants. So let's do that. So for A, we have 40 into 15 into 1, right? I'll just write this one, but that's all we have because I'm ignoring all the zeros. Again, it's just comparison. So all the tens doesn't matter. Next one, we have 25 into 20 into 3. Next one, we have 15 into 30 into 4. Next one, we have 20 into 25 into 3. See, again, the same thing. I mean, these two are the same value, right? Ignore because you don't have such an option, B or D, C or D, something like that. So both cannot be the answer. Now, all you have to do is compare these two. And this is pretty obvious, right? 15 is common. And this is 40 into 1. This is 30 into 4. 30 into 4 is 120. And this is 40. So this has to be the highest, right? So the highest out here is C. I took it in that order in the table, so it's easy for me to identify. So this is the answer for question number 6. Let's do the same thing for question number 7. Just let me take this off now. So question number 7, we have to just check for check the same thing. We are looking for the highest profit, but in this case, we are looking for 2017. So again, we are going to multiply each of the three columns, but this time around, we are doing for 2017, right? So let us do that. So first thing, A is 35 into 15. And again, I'm going to ignore all the zeros here in the profitability column. So this is 1. Next one is 20 into 20 into 3. Next one is 30 into 18 into 2. The next one is 15 into 25 into 3. Great. So these are the numbers that we have, right? Now, first of all, here we have to compare a bit. There are a lot of comparison points. So let me just figure out the easy ones to compare before I, go ahead with it. First thing that I find is here and here. If I compare these two, notice there's a 3 here in both of it. So I'm comparing, I'll just keep a mark of that. I'm comparing these two. Okay. B and D, that is. The 3 is common in both of it. So don't ignore that. And here we have 15 into 25 and this is 20 into 20, right? Now, if you understand few ideas, and 15 is like 20 minus 5 and 25 is 20 plus 5, right? So this will be something like 20 square minus 5 square. Obviously, this is lower than 20 square. 20 into 20 is 20 square, isn't it? So this is gone. This is ruled out. So this is out. This cannot be the highest. So next is which two to compare, which two will be easy to compare, something like that. So we can compare, let's say, something like this with either one of them, because this should be a shortfall, right? Because if you put it in this way, here's a 1, right? From here to here, there's 3 times happening. And again, 15 to 20 is also quite some increase. And 35 to 20 is the only decrease that we have, right? But think about it. I mean, there's a 3 times, 1 to 3, this is becoming 3 times. This is not becoming 3 times, isn't it? So there's no way that 35 is balancing out this change on the rightmost part. I don't know how better to explain this. So I'm taking this as these two parts. It's just observation. I'm avoiding calculation as much as possible. So 1 to 3, you're tripling on from A to B, but 20 to 35, you're not tripling, right? So there's no balancing out. So obviously this change is affecting more. And also here there's an increase. So now we can easily understand that B has to be greater than A. So A can be ruled out, right? So A is definitely ruled out. Let me strike that off. So that is out. Now we can compare these two very simply. I mean, there's nothing to it. Check this out. I mean, 20 into 3 is same as 30 into 2, right? and obviously 20 is greater than 18. So obviously B is the highest here. So 7 is B, option B as well. So that's it for 7. Now let us look into question number 8. Let me take this off first. Okay, the final question, question number 8. Now we're looking for the complete list of brands whose profits went up in 2017 from 2016. So we are looking for the profit increasing from 2016 to 2017, right? 2017 should be higher. Now, as we had already discussed, we can use that idea once more. But let us understand this in another. We have to compare two different years, right? So when we are comparing two different years, something is changing. If you remember, the profit bit, if I have to calculate the profit, that will be the profitability percentage of the revenue. And the revenue is the selling price multiplied to the market share multiplied to the total volume. Now, remember that in the previous questions, when we were comparing the profits, the total volume was constant for each of the products because that was the same year we were comparing. And for that given year, the total volume is constant. For 2016, the total volume is constant for each of the products, right? Total volume is simply the total volume sold. But from 2016 to 2017, we have a change in the total volume, isn't it? So this part is actually changing, right? So we have to take that into account. Keep that in mind. Also, what we can do is we just have to compare whether it's going up or down, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some ratio techniques. Now this is very easy to understand. Just listen to me carefully. So the total volume here from 2006. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to calculate something like this: profit of 2017 upon profit of 2016. Now, if this thing is greater than 1, then it qualifies our condition, right? Because in that case, profit of 2017 will be more than profit of 2016, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this total volume also as a fraction. So I'm going to write total volume of 2017 upon total volume of 2016. Now, this ratio is already known to us, isn't it? It's increasing by 40%. So if it is increasing by 40%, this ratio is simply 7 by 5. So we know this part is 7 by 5. So effectively, if the remaining part, that is this entire product, if this entire product's fraction of 2017 out of 2016 is more than 5 by 7. So if this fraction is more than 5 by 7, let me just, yeah. So if this product is more than 5 by 7 for 2017 upon 2016, so I'm just writing this as a certain product of 17 out of product in 16. So this product is what I'm talking about. If this is greater than 5 by 7, then the profit of 2017 is actually, this particular ratio that I talked about, this has to be greater than 1, right? So if you're good with these comparison techniques, this kind of thing, you can do it mentally itself. So this is just a proportionality idea, the variance idea. One part is becoming 7 by 5. In order to keep it constant, I need the other part to be 5 by 7. But in this case, I don't need to keep it constant. I need to increase this. So the other part has to be more than 5 by 7. That is my point. Now, the interesting part of this particular question is, if you think about the products A, B, D, or rather the brands A, B, and D, if you remember, there was no change in the USP or in the profitability, right? Each of the three, if you remember the last point that the premise talked about, the USP and the profitability remained same for the 2 years, right? So all I have to do is compare this market share. So all I have to do is find whether the market share of 2017 upon market share of 2016 is greater than this 5 by 7 or not. That is what we are looking for, right? Because these two will have the same thing, right? I mean, this, if you divide 2017 value with 2016 value, in each of the cases, you'll get 1, 1, 1, right? So all you have to do is compare this part. So let me just clean the below part first, and then I'll get into each of these products, ABD. So first I'm comparing ABD. First, let me clean this up. So I'm going to compare this for each of the products, okay? So all I have to do is 2017 out of 2016, just the market share. So let us look at A. Now, A in 2017 is 35 market share. Only look at the first column. And in 2016, it is 40, right? 35 by 40 is 7 by 8. Now, if you are decent enough, it's for these things. I mean, don't compare too complicated way. It's just percentage, right? 7/8 is 87.5%, and 5/7 is 71%. So that is definitely greater, right? So A qualifies. What about B? B is 20 out of 25, right? So 20/25 is 4/5. You can reduce this mentally, I believe. 4/5 is also 80%. So this is more than 71%. So this is also this is also qualifying. C is also, B is also qualifying. And now let us look at D. So D is 15 out of 20. 15 out of 20 is 3/4. This is actually slightly more than 5/7. 5/7 is 71%, and 3/4 is 75%, right? So D is also qualifying this criteria. Now, the reason I checked ABD is because this is easy to check. If I had to check C, I had to compare each of these three parameters. Now I hope you understand market share into the unit selling price into the profitability. I had to compare multiply each of these fractions and then compared with 5/7. But excuse me. But if you look at the options, my target was in this way. When I looked at the options, I found that each of the options has only three brands, right? So in my mind, I knew that if ABD works out, fantastic, I get the answer. What happened here? If, however, suppose A and B would have qualified and D did not qualify, in that case, I know that ABC has to be the answer, right? Whichever two qualifies, along with that, C automatically qualifies because one of the option has to be true. So all I'm doing is just reducing my work, calculation part. So I don't want to calculate with C. There's more to calculate. For ABD, I just have to compare market share. So that's it for this particular set. If you do it very smartly, I hope you understand. I mean, you can solve all of these questions in 6 to 8 minutes. It's a pretty easy set. This table might take you 2 to 3 minutes, and after that, I mean, the first three questions can be done very, very quickly if you're good with comparisons. So only the last one, if you understand that idea, depends on it. So it might go up to 8 minutes, but if you're good at it, you can complete it in 6 minutes actually. So it's an easy set. I think I don't have to mention that explicitly. I would say this is a very, very easy set. You should never leave a set like this just because this is DI or you are not comfortable in DI. Please just remember the full form of DI is data interpretation. It's not calculation. So work on the interpretation part, interpret properly, compare, use arithmetic basic ideas that are mainly tested in DI. So once you understand that, it's a pretty easy set to solve. That's it for this question. Hopefully you had fun. Thank you.